Well, guys, I'm afraid it's official. Pokemon is dead. Now, let me explain. You may or may not have heard of or saw the Pokemon Direct that came out today as of recording this video, and it's just awful, man. Now, if you don't know what they did, Pokemon, or I should say Gamefreak, has or is going to launch a DLC pack for the Pokemon Sword and Shield games. And yes, you heard me correctly. DLC pack. A stupid DLC pack. Now let me explain. So basically they're calling it the Sword and Shield expansion pack. It's stupid. It's honestly really stupid. They're adding... It's not even that great. I'll go into that later. So basically, it's going to come out, I think... Well, it might be out already, I'm not sure. But it's just the stupidest thing. Gamefreak has basically stooped down to the lowest level by doing this. It's atrocious. And I cannot condone this behavior from Gamefreak any longer. I thought when I saw some of the trailers for Pokemon Sword and Shield, I thought Pokemon was dead there, but no, it is dead now. This is just the lowest of the low, and it is unacceptable. So, some of the things that they're going to be doing in this quote-unquote expansion is that basically they're going to be re-adding some of the old Pokemon. Ooh, big deal. And they're going to give us, new clothing options, because that's what we need in Pokemon, more clothing options. And basically they're going to be adding more Gigantamax forms, which honestly, who cares? And another thing, they're adding the Gigantamax forms for the starters in the expansion pack for the game. The Pokemon, the very first Pokemon that you get in the game are getting a Gigantamax form, which is the main gimmick of the game, in a paid DLC expansion. I cannot stress enough how terrible this is. Gamefreak is just, it's killing Pokemon at this point. No, it's killed Pokemon. It's just dead at this point. Pokemon is just, it's atrocious. There's no coming back from this. They've stooped down to the lowest level. They've stooped down to a level maybe not as low as Bethesda or EA, but it's definitely the lowest thing in my personal opinion, that Game Freak has ever done to this suffering franchise. It's atrocious, to be completely honest. And you want to know how much this costs? This is going to cost $30. For an expansion pack. $30. That's half a full price game. For things, okay, well granted, they are adding a bunch of stuff, but most of that is just the recycled trash we've been getting for the past few years. Like, ooh, all the legendaries are coming back. Big deal. You know, it's just, nobody cares at this point. They're just giving you legendaries in the games. Who cares? Nobody cares about the legendaries anymore. We've seen it. We saw it in Auras. We saw it in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It's not new. It's not creative. And speaking of legendaries, they're going to be adding more legendaries / mythicals in the game. And they're ugly. They're just not creative. They're garbage. And speaking of not creative, the new Galarian form for Slowpoke is just so lazy. It's literally just a slightly fatter Slowpoke with a mustard stain on its forehead. It's completely stupid. This is the lowest thing Game Freak has ever done. In my personal opinion, this is even lower than when they lied about the models. That's how bad I think this is. And this could just be the start of the end. This may not even be it. Yeah, in my opinion, Pokemon is dead, and this may be the very last Pokemon game I ever wish to get, because it's awful at this point. They don't care anymore. They're just trying to squeeze every last bit of money out of the fan base, and the fan base is part of the problem too. because the video that I watched the official, I think, American official Pokemon channel, the only negative comment I saw on that video was the one I posted. That's not good. Well, at least there is some hope, because the comment I posted was, and I quote, "Pokemon is dead now," or along those lines, and it got a like in like 30 seconds. So there is hope for the fan base and that one person that liked my comment. But other than that, man, Pokemon is just dead at this point, and I don't know what to do, man. And they also announced a remake of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue Rescue Team. It looks okay at best, but from what I read, it's going to be way too easy, because Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, especially the originals, is known for being a pretty long and challenging game. So, in them just watering it down like that, okay, this video isn't about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I might do a separate video on that when more information comes out. But it's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Gamefreak charging $30 for a glorified DLC pack. I mean, it is a DLC pack, but they call it an expansion pack, and they show all these new wonderful quote-unquote features that are going to be in the game, and they bloat the trailer with all sorts of garbage, like new lackluster Galarian forms and new outfits, and everyone is just excited, like, ooh, I can dress like the Marnie, the girl character, I can dress like the champion. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? Nobody should care about that. Pokemon is just not, Game Freak's not trying anymore. I can't take it. And another thing I hate is when people blame Nintendo for Pokemon's problems. They don't work on the games. They just distribute them and license them. Game Freak does everything. And we've already know, the information has already come out about how awful Game Freak is at developing the games. And it's just, it's awful. Game Freak is butchering the franchise for everything it's worth. It's like they're taking the cow carcass in the freezer. They took it out, and they started butchering the cow carcass with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, maybe in the original Sun and Moon, and they're still trying to cut up that cow carcass, but there's nothing left for them to butcher, so they're just scraping bare bones at this point. It's just... Guys, Pokemon is dead, and there's nothing we can do about it. Maybe if there's a strong enough fan reaction, we can do something about it. Maybe if we show Game Freak as a collective community that we don't want this. This is not what Pokemon as a whole deserves. Maybe they'll reconsider in the future. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. It seems like the community is a lost cause. And it's not going to change. Pokemon overall is, at the end of the day, is marketed to be a children's game, and it's been watered down to be such for a long time. But is that really what we're going to stand for? Are we just going to sit back and accept this? This blasphemy? This intolerable nonsense? Are we just going to sit back and accept it and take it? I think not. Because if they continue, we'll vote with our wallets. Granted, most people in the community won't, because they're just kind of delusional morons. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but it's true. The community is just made up of delusional, and I hate to say it, delusional morons who will just... they'll just diffuse anything thrown at them without a second thought. They'll just, and even people I know are like this, where they'll just diffuse anything. They'll eat up anything that's thrown at them. They'll just throw money at Game Freak for doing the most bare bones and lackluster thing they can do with Pokemon. Pokemon is dead, ladies and gentlemen. And at this point, it may very well be too late to revive it. But we'll have to see when this expansion pack inevitably comes out very shortly. And excuse the pug barking. That's normal. For a yip yappy pug. But guys, if this continues, Pokemon will stay dead. And I'm sorry to say this, but in my personal opinion, the best thing that Pokemon can do is find a new development team. Gamefreak is not suitable enough a company to be developing these, I think you would call it a XXX game, I'm not too sure, I'd have to look up the definition, but these $60 full-priced video games that are the best-selling, like the best-selling franchise in the entire world, or something like that. Like, one of the most, if not one of the most popular franchise in the whole world. It deserves better. Game Freak is no longer suitable to be developing these games. And if Pokemon is ever going to get any better in the near future, or the far future, it's going to need a new set of developers. And I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. Pokemon's amazing. Sure, they can keep their artists, like, I don't remember what his name is, but I don't know how I can't remember his name, but the man who did most of the original Pokemon artwork, and still does it to this day, like, yeah, they can keep him. He's amazing. Even Generation 8, I thought was going to have some bad Pokemon designs, but I was wrong. Inteleon, despite how generic it is, Corviknight, the Flapple, all of those amazing things, Dragapult, there's some really good designs in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So they may as well keep him. But Pokemon needs a new developer. And fast. If this franchise is going to get any better in the near future. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have to say. If you agree with me, you can leave a like on the video. Comment down below. And if you disagree with me, you can dislike the video and leave an irresponsible and childish hate comment towards me in the comment section down below, which I'm sure if this video gets any views, which it probably will, if I upload it on time, it'll probably get a bunch of views, or at least a handful. I could be wrong, but a lot of those people will probably be people who disagree with my opinion, childish people who can't move on and accept the fact that Pokemon is a dead franchise and or a very dying franchise. That's all I have to say. My name is Trumu Purdue, and I, considering a name change, because that is just a stupid name, but I can't think of anything else, signing out and designing my own fan-made Pokemon because I know for a fact that Pokemon is never going to be the same again after the stupid DLC pack that is leeching off of the common denominator's wallets.